Okay. So we're going to pick right back up with the headmistress' office where Kenzo is just trying to violently break free of his chains, and then she's just looking at him and then sips some more of her tea.
Again, if I remember, shot back into his chair. Not quite frightened, but surprised and instinctively going, nope, keep that away from me, and pushing himself as far away as he can, while Alex leans forward to try and get a better look, if I remember was where we left off.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's what happened.
What the... What happened?
She sets her tea back down on the plate. Like I said, we found him roaming about the school grounds, ransacking Mr. Weber's room.
Why would he go there?
I'll reiterate again. It seems as though he's retained a small fraction of his intelligence.
Regaining himself from pure instinct, will sit himself upright and give a good once-over of Kenzo to see if, I don't know, anything he can identify from what little he has been able to get his hands on for previous research on the various variants.
I'll quickly go through the description of Kenzo because it's been a while. So Kenzo is wearing like his normal like hoodie outfit and stuff. It just looks a bit more ripped up. His skin's kind of like yellowed and grayed a bit, like it's a little discolored, and his irises are just like a deep maroon red. And he's kind of just making heavy growls and snarls and like trying to break free of the chains that are holding him to the two sides of the wall of the little panic room that he's in. And you can see that there's like almost like a thick gelatin like saliva coming out of his mouth, like as he's snarling, that's just dripping out onto the floor. That seems to like hold shape a little bit as it just pools.
From our combined experiences of either my research or his first-hand experience, do either of us recognize any of these symptoms? Besides, obviously, gray skin being he's zombie.
Well, yeah, it's not like he's even super great either. It just looks like the blood's kind of like, you know how when someone looks pale when they've had blood loss, that's about how Kenzo looks. It's not like cartoonishly pale or oblique or anything like that.
It's corpse fit, but not, cartoon.
Alex would recognize that this is like within the same vein or like mutagen, because he would have seen like a similar ooze coming from the zombies that he saw when he was a child. You in particular, again, like the little bit you know about zombies from Miss Watanabe's book and like what you've researched, this seems entirely different.
The two strains that I know, his is the T Abyss virus, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's the two that I would have had access were the T and the, what's the other commonly known one?
You guys, if you did your ample research, which I know Gen did, because he messaged me about it, Chris, you'd know a decent bit about Ouroboros from Miss Watanabe's book. You would know about the T virus, and then you'd know little tiny bits about the G. Not a whole lot. That one's been kept very, like, hush-hush.
Doesn't look like the T or the G virus from what I know of, nor the Ouroboros.
So, what was that virus from Terra Grisha? It looks similar to that type of strand, if I believe.
I believe you mean the Abyss strain.
Yes. Have you taken any samples?
No, unfortunately I haven't, simply because we've had other issues rise up recently. Our initial goal was to segregate him from the general population, so when our medical advisor, Mr. Abbott, gets here, he can look over him.
You know there's no turning back after somebody turns or mutates, right?
Even if he did, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think they're salvaging him at this point.
It's more about knowing what we're dealing with rather than trying to save young Owada here.
Does he need to be, moving around? Isn't a dead sample better, though?
Well, we'd rather not create another source of an outbreak, and the easiest way to do that is to keep him living for freshest study sample, and 2, just so that he can't spread to anyone else. I mean, you have to understand just the high level of exposure one subject like him could cause, even dead.
How secure are the chains?
As you see that, Kenzo's kind of like almost stood up halfway and is very vehemently just trying to get out at this point, and he's just kind of like more or less knocking himself to the floor the moment he starts to get up into a sprint, just with how little slack there is. Well, if you were able to get free, he'd probably have grabbed one of you already. Or me.
Does he seem to be aiming for anyone in particular more than the others, or?
You can see that his eyes have not left you in particular again.
Does Alexander see that?
Roll me awareness.
Modifiers?
No, just a flat roll.
47.
Damn!
47? Hot damn! Yeah, you notice that Kenzo's eyes have remained fixed the whole time. You're not super sure about which direction or whom just because of your angle in the room, but you can also see that, like, his actions are more purposeful than, like, what you experienced with Terroresia. Like, there's a modicum of a thought process in, like, how he's doing stuff. You'd also notice that, that with his ripped up hoodie and other stuff, you can see that there's, like, bits of, like, flannel in his teeth, and you can also see, like, a purple headband around Kenzo's neck.
You said he has been walking around for 8 hours, or was it that he's been in here for 8 hours?
We've had him secured for 8 hours. Something got to him while he was in the woods, and that's why we want to know where Mr. Nivens is.
Well, not to alarm anybody, but I believe I see something on his teeth. I believe that's flannel. On his neck, there's probably a purple cloth or something.
Out of character, do I recognize that as Aaron's? Now that it's been pointed out.
Because you've been Aaron's roommate for so long, you'd know that he always wore like an overshirt and flannel that wasn't buttoned up, and his headband was purple the whole campaign, so yeah, you could put 2 and 2 together without a roll.
But I specifically don't see any blood on him, do I?
No, but you do notice that there is visible damage to Kenzo. Like, you can see that there's like some dents in his face, and that like his neck's having a hard time staying up straight. Because if you remember when Aaron killed Kenzo in game, he popped his neck out of his spine.
Yeah. Like there's damage done to Kenzo's body. Wait, actually, does it look post-mortem or pre-mortem? Post or pre-death?
Unable
Obviously,
to
I know
tell
there's
from
the
this distance.
stabs. Okay. That flannel and the headband are definitely Aaron's.
So that means that Kenzo and Aaron have a possible contact, and for the worst case scenario, we can say that Aaron is infected with this strand and is out and about. And
Gen is actually going to stand and take a few steps closer. Still definitely out of reach, but he needs to get a closer look.
And Kenzo, it looks like he has been fixated with something in this room.
Me.
Possible.
Gen says over his shoulder, like not even really thinking about it.
I see. It's possible that this Kenzo has somewhat of a thought process, maybe some form of sentience. I can't really identify.
Again, how close are you getting to Kenzo?
Basically, if I can gauge roughly where his reach is, about a foot and a half outside of there. Enough to where, like, even if he tried spitting, the mucus wouldn't really reach me.
He really can't get more than, like, 5 inches past, like, the doorway of that panic room. So I'd say you could pretty much just get within 2 feet of the entrance of it.
Kenzo, you said you respected me. If you can remember any of that. He responds to that. I need you to calm down.
Hillbilly.
Hillbilly?
What happened to Aaron?
His mouth opens wider, and you can kind of see, like, between the bits of flannel and stuff, like some of his back teeth have been, like, smashed out a bit.
Is he saying that he did something to Aaron? No. I try to get closer to Gen, and
And full on, like, hand stops you if you try to get anywhere close. Did you infect him?
Kenzo's just kind of like, while you've been talking, like the little bit that he's like grunted back and forth. The one thing I will say is it seems like there's very little like cognizance in like his speech pattern to you. The fact that he's even like being able to moan anything's fairly impressive. The other thing that you've noticed is like the whole time he's been like gripping his hands on the chains and stuff, now that he's knowing that like he can't get out.
Ken's eyes definitely go to his hands to see, like, are they trying to scratch the chains?
You notice that, like, one hand's trying to, like, see if it can MacGuffin its wrist, like, further back, and then the other one's, like, tugging on the chain just to, like, gather, like, how much leeway there is.
Kenzo, stop fighting the chains. And tell me, did you infect Aaron? Did you bite him or claw him? Nod yes, shake for no.
And then he just kind of slumps, and then you see him, like, get up on, like, quarter stance, and then he just kind of goes, and then he just tries to leap forward again, and then falls back.
And looks down at that point and shakes his head and backs up. He's gonna escape those eventually. He's already smart enough to try and test them. This is directly to the principal.
That's why the plan's only to keep him alive, the bare minimum. The other reason we didn't outright just dispose of him is because explaining any of this to Senior Owada is going to be tough.
Just tell him that he fell in the water. We did leave the island for a while. You could say that you were looking for him. Man overboard. It's
The
not
problem is that Mr. Owada had regular contact with his father. Two, there's plenty of people that could vouch for his appearance up until right when he went missing. I believe Miss Alicia, his girlfriend's been asking crazy about him.
Then just say he went to the advancement class. Isn't that what you tell me?
Is there an implication with that, Mr. Chen?
You know full well that it does. I don't really like playing mind games.
You want the truth? I will tell you what I know. Obviously, Mr. Owada's beyond saving at this point. We can't really dispose of him until it's safe to do so, just out of risk of other people, and the fact that if he dies, we're working with quickly decaying samples. The other thing I will tell you is that Kenzo was not the first one to show up like this within the last year. The others we've disposed of as they've shown up, and that was one of the 3 reasons Miss Watanabe came to pay me a visit.
The other 2? Perhaps they have to do with the, it was Tricell equipment, right?
If I remember correctly, yes.
I mean, that was
just
out
outright
of...
say try well?
Try well.
Try well.
Tricell.
Yeah, Tricell.
Yes.
Okay, so you just said out in the open the Tricell equipment.
Yes. Perhaps that has some... Perhaps the others have something to do with the Tricell equipment.
Well, you two certainly do live up to our most esteemed picks. As
They are
is the
supposed
reputation of our student-based. One was the competition, as the BSA has been heavily involved with this school, at least over the last 5-6 years. The other reason is that Miss Watanabe wanted a favor for a favor. We studied some samples that she had in our old equipment, and she'd research what we have happening here. You understand, with the school's past, especially with Umbrella, we couldn't risk anything bad happening. We've done everything in our power to walk away from that history. It's just, even being tangentially involved in any way would tarnish the school forever.
Gonna be honest, it was Mistress Teresa, right? That's her title.
No, her name was Headmaster Mother Gracia.
Oh, what the fuck was I going with? Mistress Teresa. All due respect, Headmaster. The longer it's hidden, the more it looks like you were complacent. In a secret like that, he says, gesturing towards Kenzo, doesn't stay secret forever.
No, you're correct in that one. Which is why we've been trying to properly resolve the situation with the least amount of damage. My dear boy, this kind of thing has happened many other times than they teach you. There was more than just Raccoon and Kijuju and Terrorisia. The rest of it's been the due diligence of the proper powers that be to resolve problems before they became other people's issues.
Character, would I have suspected that given my research, or?
Roll me an intelligence and we'll go from there, because the level that the world has collectively gone to cover up most of this stuff that happened is pretty deep.
Any modifier or just straight?
Straight.
15, so middling.
You could say that, like, it's been conspiracized, but, like, there was never any, like, hard proof. Like, you could have been like, maybe in this chat room they're like, oh, there was this outbreak in Spain or whatever that no one knows anything about, or like, there was a secret zombie invasion of the White House. A lot of it's been, like, very, like, all over the place, like, conspiracy theories.
So the smart as Gen is, he probably could guess which ones are more credible, but like not which ones are actually happening.
If we're talking about possible conspiracies being true, would I know my character would have been going through information like that. Can I roll?
Alex is one of the people on the... There was totally one in.
Normally I'd allow it, but I do want to do other scenes than just this one tonight, so for the sake of this scene, no. Unfortunately, no.
Again, just nods, that was pretty much what he thought. But, could never confirm. Now it's been confirmed. I have nothing else that I can really think of to do. So unless, Alex, you do, I say we shift the scene to Ray.
Okay. Before we shift, I'll ask my final question. Since you're showing us this, what do you want us to do?
What I want you to do is make sure Kenzo remains our only living sample.
Okay.
I want you and some of your friends to meet up with some of my security after you're done getting your schedules and everything is wiped well under the rug. I'm gonna have a job for you to do that'll make everyone much safer, and because you all seem very charitable, I trust that you'll do everything in your power for your fellow students.
We will.
Gen's gonna hold his tongue about the question that came up to his mind. And if there's nothing else, then he'll just nod.
Okay, it goes without saying, not a word to your fellow students, other than if you want to involve them in the work of cleaning this up. I'll see to it that Mr. Wada's no trouble to anyone. And then as she says that, Kenzo at this point has been slowly slumping himself back up and is like he's like halfway stood up in the doorway. Then you just see her walk over to Kenzo and she pretty much just like kicks him on the shoulder so he falls backwards. And then when he falls backwards, she hits like a switch on the bookshelf that just shuts the door, essentially.
Next time you open that, perhaps be ready for him to jump out at you. Obviously, he's starting to get rid of those chains. The longer he's like that, the looser his skin will be and the faster he'll get out.
We only need 48 hours, tops. Probably much sooner. Mr. Abbott takes his work very seriously.
Mhm.
Okay then.
Now, unless if you two have anything else productive to tell me as far as what happened out in the woods, I suggest you go get your schedules and be ready to meet. I'll send people to get you.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be okay if I looked into Kenzo's room myself? He stole something of mine when he abducted me.
His room or Daniel's?
His room.
I can arrange for that access to be made in house beacon, but only after your job with me's done.
Gen nods at that.
And then she'll motion for the two of you to leave as as like very on cue someone comes in like a hazmat suit and starts like cleaning up like the saliva on the floor just past the bookshelf, and the two of you leave as she goes back to her tea looking out the window.
As we leave, I'll say, "What a waste of a sample." Then just walk away.
Gen's gonna follow Alex, no longer really pretending that he needs Alex's assistance to walk. But as they do walk, Gen will lean in and say, "So, are you as suspicious of her security team as I am?"
Yeah, but it's not like we can beat them.
I don't know. Get me a few painkillers.
We should
What's
go
that?
find. We should go find Martin and the package.
Yeah. I definitely need to know about this. And at that scene kind of fades to black, if you're okay with that one, Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
Ray, go ahead and roll me awareness because you can see up into the window of the headmistress room.
All right.
And this will have a -6 because you have a very bad angle.
Got
you
you.
are on the ground looking up.
All right, got you. I imagine common sense, of course, as usual, doesn't kick into this.
No,
Nope.
again, combat sense is just if you're in like a compromising situation.
I fumbled.
What window?
Roll
D100?
Roll the 1d100.
5. Like I said, what window?
So, Ray, you do look at the window, but everything's too far for you to gather in much detail. But what you can hear off in the distance is a bit of a higher pitched scream.
Okay. Alright.
When you look into that direction, you can see that there's a bit of like a panic of people running away from a situation. Not a lot, like no more than 4 or 5.
Try to see like what's going on. Like where are they running from?
You can see that it's pretty much like one of the computer building areas in like the same area that people were going to go get their schedules for the next couple weeks. When you look from that distance, you can see like a few shadows off in the distance that are moving slow, but you can't see them in good detail. And Martin's right next to you looking as well.
What's going on over there? You sort of mentioned.
Truth be told, man, I have no idea. The last few days have been a wash.
I'm gonna pull out, like I have my bag, like my bag, like I'm gonna put out my binoculars. I'm gonna take that with me for my place. I'm gonna try and like see if I can see anything with binoculars. What those shadows are.
Yeah, roll me an awareness with a +8 because you're using tools.
Sweet. 31.
Complete opposite, my guy.
Yeah.
But we'll go with it.
Yeah.
Anyway, when you look through your binoculars, you can kind of see off into the distance that there's really not a whole lot of people. Like, it was very intentional. They were being scheduled to go in groups of like 5 to 10, no more. And out of character, you wouldn't know this, but you can infer that that was the headmistress wanting the least amount of like liability possible. As you see those like 6 or so people, you notice that there's some activity inside the building, and that the figures shambling have come from outside the woods. And they're moving very abnormally. You can kind of see that they're like bruised and damaged. You can't see whether they're people that are hurt wanting help or if that they're like hostile or anything. You can just see that they're walking closer to the computer room.
Did anyone go to the computer?
And then at this point you can see a very small German boy running towards you going, "Ray! Ray!"
Ah, shit. I'm gonna look at Martin. I think something's going up the woods.
Are you gonna go meet
Daniel, yeah, I'm gonna go outside.
yeah.
I'm gonna try and do it still, like,
Yeah,
stealthily leave. So the cameras can pick me up.
As you make your way in that direction, Daniel eventually does catch your eyes, and then he runs over to you and Martin. Oh no, you've got to go quick.
What happened? What's going on?
Me and the Sakura were grabbing our schedules, and they came from the woods.
Those people?
Yes.
Where's Sakura then?
She stayed behind to help too. I was getting more medical professionals and security.
Alright, I'll go help her out then, see what I can do. Try to,
If I find others, I'll send them to you.
Alright, I shout back and I rush to help Sakura.
Okay. Give me 1 second. I gotta change maps.
Oh,
Oh no.
Should we roll awareness to see if we can hear this and how fast we can find them?
Give it a sec. I've got to add some tokens, so we're just taking like 5 for a second here.
Wait, so are they zombies or are they just people who are
zombies.
injured?
You're gonna find out.
Just zombies. You got people shambling up from the woods.
But hey, they could have been injured, like in a car accident,
True.
Yes, in the mysterious car accident that happened in the woods, specifically that place where we found, the other zombie.
Yeah.